Let's start.
Good evening, and welcome to the nighttime heat on Prime FM 105.5. My name is David Tagbert, and welcome wherever you are. We are on Facebook and YouTube. We also on Prime FM 105.5. One of my panelists, Desmond Wion, is already in. So welcome. We have a lot to talk about this evening on the nighttime heat. President Joseph Boakai has dismissed several officials of government, and then I guess by now they are packing up their personal belongings from their respective offices following the president's decision to have dismissed and suspend some of the officials. So it's one of the topics we'll be talking about. We'll also be talking about the PEL and the police. The President of Liberia has given the Liberian National Police 72 hours to provide evidence of IG of the police allegation that the union is receiving bribes from drug cartels. The Press Union of Liberia, the leadership of the Press Union of Liberia is annoyed. It is demanding the evidence from the police authorities. And if the leadership of the police fails in providing the evidence, there will be consequences. So that debate is on. UL president, the UL president, University of Liberia president, is still in the news. She's now threatening officials of the University Faculty Association with dismissal or suspension if they take part in protests or go slow. And if there's any go slow, they should put a stop to it. So already, Edwin family is here, and Desmond Wion. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, Desmond.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thanks so very kindly, and good evening to our many listeners, our viewers. It is because of them we always see this as our obligation to come on it. Thank you.
Edwin.
Well, I'm glad as always to be here. Thanks for always having us, and to our producers, to the many listeners home and abroad. We want to say it is because of you that we take on our busy schedule at night, leave it to come and be here so that we can be able to share the happenings of our country with our own analysis. As usual, we're always glad to be here.
So what is trending on your mind? Desmond again. Desmond, what is trending on your mind? That is not on our list of topics to be discussed.
Well, there are lots of things, and but for the sake of time,
Yeah, one.
what has been trending on my mind is the fact that we have a country of law. Liberia is a country of laws, and we as citizens, we should at all times obey these laws. It appears to be something very apparent, especially when you see the manner and form in which our city is
Yeah,
being.
you have 1 minute.
Yeah, our city is being looked at, especially the city of Monrovia, in terms of the filthiness. Is concerning, and that is why this is an open call to the mayor of the city, Mayor Safar. This is time you got to roll off his sleeves, to make sure the beautification of our city, be upkept is something that should never be compromised. We know how Monrovia has been over the years. In fact, that was the recent time during the Christmas, the 26th celebration. We saw Monrovia was abandoned. Even as a matter of fact, the government is going to celebrate in Buchanan, but the city of Monrovia that hosts the capital of our country should be well beautified so that it does not lose its original.
So that's what on your mind.
Yes.
Okay, that's what on your mind. Edwin, what's trending on your mind? Apart from what we have for our main topics.
Well, I saw something today that I just talked about. The reckless behavior of some of the government officials, specifically the minister of local government. Now it used to be the minister of internal affairs. Something happens today, and I just thought to myself that I was going to bring it out. I was driving towards Cinco. The president was at this new bank, and he was coming from the opposite side. We're trying to dodge the traffic, and I saw this man convoy coming with speed because he's drive with convoy, and I hope people around him are listening so they can take this thing to him. He has a pilot car. That guy nearly ran into us. These are reckless behavior. Who's looking for Francis Numale to be driving with an escort and almost trying to run people off the road? The same thing happened when the president went to Lofa. A child got killed from his vehicle. These people need to slow down. You're not the president of this country. That you driving with convoy, almost running into people. This is reckless behavior. His partner car nearly ran into us. I had to even slow down. Luckily, a colleague of mine was in the car. That's why we actually didn't just make issues out of it. I think he was trying to bend in to go into the St. Peter Lutheran. Normally, they all behave like how the president convoy behave. They want to block the traffic for him to go inside. Come on, man! Just an ordinary minister?
No, that is not ordinary.
No. There is nowhere in the world,
local government,
even in the great United States, there is nowhere in the world where you see ministers drive a convoy.
But
We
it's
need to
not.
stop this.
It's not ordinary.
No, but
ordinary.
what they're doing, they're endangering other people's
Yeah, no, I
lives.
agree with you on that.
A young girl got killed by his convoy in Lofa
Yeah.
County.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. But
And he
it's
could
not
have done the
ordinary.
same thing to some of us today. So
Sorry.
they need to slow down. They need to stop this whole thing about the power getting into their head. They should know that these are the same people who voted you guys yesterday.
Okay, thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, guys. And so this is the nighttime heat on Prime FM 105.1. We are also on the social media, Facebook and YouTube. And gentlemen, we all have heard about we've all have heard about the recent action by President Joseph Boakai. I think by now, some of the officials who've been affected by the president's action, dismissal or suspension action, I guess they are now packing their things from their respective office. They've been dismissed in relationship to the discovery of cocaine, their link to it, their alleged link to it, so the president has dismissed them. And worst of all, the Civil Service Agency is suggesting the removal of these officials, affected officials, to be removed from the government's payroll, although they haven't been taken to court and proven guilty. What do you think, Desmond? Let's start with you.
The action of the president, in fair, criticism as a patriot, is laudable. There is not the sound of any form of politics, but when these things happen, what matters most is the swift and responsible actions of the president. We many times talked about this on the show, that those of whom are occupying high profile positions in government, just as it has been established by the National Security Investigative Team, there are senior people, senior officials of previous government and current government who may have facilitated, aided the process. These people should be brought to book. Yesterday, what we saw, the president dismissing pretty close over to, I think it should be 5, something like that. It's laudable. However, when the president makes these kinds of decisions, it should not just stop at dismissals, suspensions, subsequently, investigation. The office of the president should be more interested in digging deeper to know the outcome as to whether these suspended officials or these dismissed officials are being subjected to investigation, and that the investigation has commenced, and that there is a complete, fair, and what we call impartial investigation. It will interest you to know, David,
Okay.
when we saw the president just about the month at which point the 19 million drugs burst at the port of the airport, there was a fellow who also was serving on the board chair of Nokai, Mr. Peter King. We saw that the president went about dismissing him, from that position. Since then,
No.
there has been no other update as to whether that fellow Peter King was subjected for investigation. There has been no other update as to whether police, have investigated him and that there's a possibility that he should be charged or not. No update. We saw the executive marshal issue a release that the president has relieved Peter King of his position and that he should face in the investigation. But what has been the outcome of such investigation? Has there been any investigation conducted that has brought in Peter King? Do you know that? The public know that? No. So now we see another, display of President Boubacar, trying to exercise his constitutional power in keeping with the framework of his office. That look, as part of his zero tolerance in the fight against drugs, all of those government officials who are linked allegedly should be what we call relinquished from their position and facing investigation. That is not all that the Liberian people need from the president.
What else?
Good. Just as I referenced the Peter King's case, the Liberian people will be so happy if the president go about dismissing and suspending some of these officials who, allegedly have been linked to the drug cartel. Liberian will appreciate if the investigation or if the action of the president will not just be limited to dismissing and suspending, and in a paragraph saying they should be surrendered for investigation. The president office should be more concerned
About what now?
when these people are being dismissed, are being suspended, whether they are being subjected before the panel of investigators, whether full-fledged investigation has been commenced involving these individuals. I just told you about the Peter King case. Peter King, who was the CEO of the GLM's, company that responsible for the transportation, the handling of these cargoes at the Barbados International Airport. The man who sat at the echelon of power, who gives instruction to a subordinate, who was the general manager. The young man company was linked, into the entire transportation storage of the drug. All we're seeing was that it was only the general manager was being investigated and charged by the joint security.
So what do you suspect?
What? It's not about what I suspect. It's what should have been done. What necessarily should have been done if for any reason the company that is being linked to this issue allegedly, and then the CEO who sits at the head and gives instruction, the person in his wisdom dismissing from his position as board chair of Nokai, in that release that the president said he should be subjected for investigation. Has the investigation been done with Peter King? Do you have the findings? What has the police done about Peter King's being investigated? So these are integrity questions. And that is why I told you, librarians will be more appreciative if the president's actions are not just limited to dismissals and suspensions. The president should make sure that when these people are being dismissed and suspended, there should be a serious monitoring of the entire chain of the investigation to say, look, these people.
But Desmond, they've been dismissed, and some have been suspended. They are going to be forwarded to the appropriate institution, or for investigation. Probably they may be prosecuted. So Desmond, they'll be prosecuted. They haven't been found guilty. They are allegedly linked to the drugs cartel.
There is one serious integrity question I just told you.
Okay,
look, yeah, before you go to Mr. Formula, do you as a journalist, have you heard any investigative findings about Peter King since the president took that action about dismissing him from a position as board chair?
We're talking about those who President Boakai dismissed.
So that is the same thing I'm saying. It was the same President Boakai who dismissed the Peter King because his company was allegedly linked into the cartel issue. So I'm saying, despite the president's action being laudable, you understand, as a patriot, I will be very frank that the action of the president to have dismissed a lot of these folks, who occupy positions within his government, is commendable.
Okay,
but
thank you. Okay, thank
the
you,
president
Desmond.
should not,
Thank you, Desmond. I'll come back to you.
stop
Thank you, Desmond.
his interest just as the dismissing and suspending these people.
Edwin,
I just hope we do not have a lot of monologue tonight.
Yeah.
We can have dialogue and talk on issues or so. But strongly, I want to commend the president for such actions. And this is where we kept saying to the public to give the leader the chance, to give the authorities a chance to do their work. You don't just go around dismissing people because of your feelings that you believe that somebody is in today's or XYZ. Where the evidence lies, the president took actions. And these are not just ordinary people. There were senior government officials that included the deputy for NSA. His name was there, deputy for administration. You have the deputy at the RIA. You had the deputy, what they call the guy, from LDA. He was also suspended. This is laudable. You see, what people don't understand most often when you're doing an investigation, you have to be very careful, because at the end of the day, it has to do with people's character. It has to do with people's reputation. There's a possibility that you could create severe damage to their character. So when you see people are doing investigation and it's in the back, they're not coming out to say it, is because they also want to protect the person's right. My colleague here talks about Mr. King. Mr. King was suspended from the board to go through investigation. And that process is still ongoing. Do you expect for somebody to come out every day and say, oh, we investigated Mr. King and we realized that he has not done this? That's not how government works. So let us be, sober to sit back and see we're getting somewhere, because this is the very first time that we've seen this in our country, where people who are in certain hierarchy of authority are now facing the fall. And in the president's statement, he said they should be investigated and forwarded to court. Once it goes to the court, the executive hands are off. It's now the judicial process that has to take place. The executive will only aid the process in prosecuting them from the Ministry of Justice angle. So it is now the court, the Ministry of Justice, that will have to make sure once there are evidence before the court, they were facing the full weight of the law. So for us to come and say, oh no, it's this and that because certain names were not called, or because we don't hear about that. Yeah.
Do you believe that the president's action has dismissed perceptions that the president of Liberia, Joseph Boakai, or the government isn't taking seriously the investigation? In fact, it was one of the reasons why He didn't even speak on that on Independence Day. Now, with this kind of action the president has taken, several persons, several officials of government, dismissing or suspending them, does it dismiss these perceptions that this government isn't serious, that playing hypocrisy in terms
You-
of
You,
the
you,
investigations?
it's difficult to control people's perceptions because they know how they think, they know how they feel. Even with all of the actions that were taken by the president last night, this morning, when you look on the social media, many of them coming back to say, "Oh, those are still the low-hanging fruit."
Yeah.
You know, those are not people who we know, because, like you said, they perceive in their mind that there are people higher up that are involved. But if the investigation is not showing that somebody higher up, way up there, maybe a minister or so, do you expect the president to dismiss them? Our laws deals with evidence. You don't just, not because you perceive that somebody did something wrong, so you should just go around and just dismissing people. At the end of the day, when you send them to court for prosecution and then you are unable to produce the evidence in court, the person walk out free. Then the same people come back and say, "Oh, the court is compromised. The court is corrupt. They pay they pay the judge, they pay the jury, they walk out." No. So because this is a crime, this is a state crime. It means that it has to go to court. And in a criminal matter, the bar is set very high. It says beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you're taking it to court, you should have all of the evidence lined out so that when you produce those evidence, the court see it that yes, indeed, this person committed this crime. Now, if the person walk out of the court, if you go to our evidence and the person get exonerated, right? What happens to the damages that you have caused to them by, naming and shaming them in the public? Don't you also take into consideration of that? In other country, if there are claims court, those individuals can sue the government and make a claim and get millions of dollars out of it. But we don't have that here. So people malign people's character. People say things about you. At the end of the day, you go to court, it's not proven. The person walk out, and then the person just go back to their house and say, "You know what? I'll just leave my own to God." But if there's a claims court in this country, the government will be spending millions of dollars every year just for claims.
So, yeah, the president's action dismisses perception that the government is not serious. It's not taking seriously the ongoing investigation.
It doesn't necessarily, dismiss in terms of entirety the perceptions of how Liberians think about this entire process. What it does, it brings about some level of relief in terms of some level of confidence. Because for a perception to be completely erased, it is not just by a single action.
Yeah.
It is by a holistic decision or approach by a government. So yes, this, like I said, it does not necessarily dismiss in terms of entirety the perception of how Liberians are feeling or thinking about this whole investigation about the drug cartel. But it brings about some level of confidence that look, the president have taken some drastic actions of which I just commended. It's laudable. But this is another sad reality about the president's action. Look, listen to Mr. Famule say, "Oh, the investigation of Mr. Peter King is still ongoing." Who is it? Is he Mr. Famule that determines that? Why is it that the joint security, have not spoken about that? We saw the people charge the general manager, putting on camera, talking to court. The man who receives instruction from his boss, the CEO sit there, and then the president only suspend the man from the board. There has been no update since that decision was taken by the president. The joint security, whether they have initiated an investigation, half hour of the investigation, no update. But Mr. Famule sitting here, he want for the people to believe on him, Mr. Famule, as a member of the joint of the national joint security, that look, the investigation of Mr. Peter King is still ongoing. That's what he's saying. So I'm saying the president can act by dismissing people, suspending people, but that is not sufficient. That is not enough. That is not all the Liberian people want. What the Liberian people will appreciate is that when the president makes these kind of these actions, it should extend beyond. These people must be brought forth to the panel of investigators. Let the investigation take a course, and let them be made known to the public. Like, no, this is what is ongoing, and this is the update. This is how far we have come. These people they are being charged and forwarded to court. When this is being done, you will understand to what level of confidence Liberian people will start to restore into the process.
But we are not. I think you're missing something.
What am I missing,
You're
David?
missing something here. The president, those that have been dismissed by the president,
Mhm.
will face interrogation at the LSCC or at the court. They will face interrogation. They will be forwarded to court if necessary. And so
I
what are you talking-
I just told you that I am not with the belief that these people will not
you don't have the belief.
go to invest. No, come in, Mr. Formula. You gotta,
Yeah.
No, but you can't keep.
You see, that's the
Yeah.
problem. You come in, you're not necessarily restrained. You come
No,
in
but
now.
you can't keep going in
Go
circles.
ahead.
So-
Yeah.
The president, I cannot be here to prehend the decision of the president to say, look, the president have taken this action. So
but that's what you're doing.
no, I'm saying the evidence for the fact that the president, with the case of Peter King, I'm giving a direct reference. Mr. Peter King was suspended from the board of Nokai around 2 or 3 months ago, and the president in that release said the men who have been subjected to investigation. And yes, Mr. Formula telling us that the investigation is still ongoing for the past almost
12 months.
over
12 months.
over 90 days plus the investigation is still ongoing. How long a man's company that was allegedly linked to the cartel, of which his general manager is now being charged, is before the court? This young man, he's saying that the young man is staying.
So why are you doubting it?
Can I respond?
Well, the man asking me,
Okay.
you see
Can I
what
respond
I'm
to you?
doubting?
No,
Okay, I'll come back to you.
because
I'll come back
I don't
to
want us to keep
Yeah.
overlaying these innuendos that my colleague keep spraying around here. First of all, crimes are not transferable. So if Mr. Peter King's general manager, who manages the day-to-day affairs of the airport, is being indicted because they believe he has a part to play with the handling of the cargo that was arrested at the airport, does it mean that Mr. Peter King, who owns the company, should also be indicted? Why don't we sit down sometimes and just reason like an ordinary person? Crimes are not transferable. I could own a company, you are the general manager. You run the day-to-day
Activities.
activities. I'm not there. You run it. You can run a business. All right. Now, for the president to even take the stand and say, since you own the company, we're going to suspend you from your activity within the government until we can carry on the investigation. That was laudable. Mr. Peter King don't work at the airport. He owns the company, but he has people who running it. So if the people carry on actions, it has to do with criminal actions. They are criminally liable for their actions. You cannot transfer their crime to the owner of the company. So that's one thing. Secondly, I did not say to you that the investigation is still ongoing. Don't misquote people here. We're sitting right here. I said it is possible that the investigation is still ongoing, and the investigation most often will not be held in the public. It will be held in the back because it has to do with people's character. You want at every stage they should come and give you a press conference to say, "Oh, we investigating Mr. King. We realize that he did nothing wrong." Then you come by and say, "Oh, the government trying to cover up." Guys, let's try to reason the people that get sent on our shoulders.
Oh, so exactly, just as you talk about, we should reason that people get things. So I see it rational. The CEO and the general manager who are sitting at the who serves as the chief administrators of the company's operation. The CEO gives direct instruction to the managers. The managers then pass the instruction to the subordinates. The general manager makes report to the CEO. So how then isn't that possible? A company allegedly being involved into a drug cartel and then you want the Liberian people to believe that it is only being done exclusively by the no, I mean, you gotta be patient, man, young
You
man.
are giving wrong information. The
Wait,
company
wait.
was not. The company has never been named. Have never been named to be involved in drug cartel. Stop that. You're getting
Look,
false
you see, you
information.
cannot
No,
be-
that's lie.
You see, you gotta be patient.
And I will not allow you to
You
speak.
talk on the show. You can do this.
No, but you can't
You were
do
talking
that.
and kept quiet.
There's a reputable
No.
institution that we
Yeah.
cannot
I
sit
speak
here.
in English.
That's a carrier company that has been existing since 2017. There was a transaction done and there was a package that they received based on that they were being investigated. You're sitting on this radio and classifying the people organization as being linked to drug. You don't do
The
that.
person I spoke English. I wonder how you found it difficult to understand.
No, you don't
I
do that.
said the investigation has established that the GLS mergers cargo handling services at the Robertson International Airport
It's linked with drug.
was
Yeah.
alleged, but it was a company that the crime. How possible can you distinguish the companies of which he's serving as a general manager? Is that not common logic? Then you want to establish clear. It's unarguable anymore. What is senior officials of this government are allegedly being linked to the cartel, to
And you
the
say will
crime.
not be prosecuted.
It has been established.
Who,
So-
who established that?
Oh, just by the fact that the president action yesterday has been established. The president action yesterday has established that there are senior officials of this government, who are being allegedly linked to the drug cartel. Do you need police charges anymore? So I'm saying we appreciate the action of the president, but we want the Liberian people will be more glad that the president action should not just be limited to dismissals and suspensions. The president's action, just as he have stated in a release, that these people will be.
You need to give them time, man. They may just go in circles, just saying one thing.
That's my progress, because I know that you always feel frightened.
No,
Mr. Formula always feel frightened.
No,
Fighting my analysis
that's
because it is rooted in truth.
Your analysis are
You know,
40.
So I'm saying, look, everywhere around the world, when these kinds of actions are being taken by the president, people follow to know the end. And I just make a classic example of the Peter King case. For the past 4 months, when the president took the action against Peter King, you are a journalist, David. Has the police ever spoken about that Peter King, whether he's being investigated and that he was not found guilty and there's no need that he should be charged? Has the police ever spoken about that? Or will they come to tell us that the investigation is still ongoing? Even as that, is it not the right of the Liberian people to be informed that, oh, look, there was some time, about 4 months ago, the president took action against the CEO of the GSM.
So, William, these things don't happen because that's how you want them to happen.
That's why.
So I'm not saying it's good.
So, William,
Oh, are you telling me that Liberia is the only country that investigate drug issue?
Liberia is the only country that you think that when they're investigating, when they're investigating
what?
someone for drug,
gentlemen, we can
they should
talk
have
about-
press conference every week.
David, let's go ahead, because I understand. I've already understood the pattern. You guys are flowing. the one he wants
Yeah.
to, yeah. Who
So
does that?
this is another part of the president's action. Now, the civil service agency is suggesting the removal from immediate removal from government payroll those who've been affected by the president's dismissal action. Although these officials haven't been taken to court, prosecuted, and found guilty.
So there are people who the president dismissed, and there are
Yeah.
people who were suspended
Suspended, yeah.
pending investigation. Those who the president has dismissed, because they work at the pleasure of the president, so definitely the president has right to dismiss them or not. So with those ones, there's nothing. But the other people who are categorized as being civil servant, once the president has issued such an authority, definitely the civil service agency that controls civil servant, that control payrolls, have to now inform the various sectors, ministries, agencies to effect that actions, right? So indeed, so that is to tell you that whatever pronouncement was made by the president has already gone across the sector of the governance to say, look, you know what? If these people have already been pronounced by the president that they were involved with Eswatini based on investigation and evidence presented to the president, because the president does not act on intuitions or based on they say, hearsay. That's why he gave the people who have the experience the chance to carry out the investigation. Based on that, they bring the findings to him and he acts. The president don't just wake up in the morning and just act because he's the president or because somebody want him to come and say XYZ. If the investigation that is being carried on has proven that Mr. Peter King that the man is talking about is guilty, you think he's the only one who supposed to be on the board of NOCA? He would have been dismissed by now. He would have been dismissed by now. So, this whole thing that people get, this whole perceptions that, because this doesn't happen, so nothing is happening. It shows that we are not thinking as rational beings. And like I said, crimes are not transferable. I could be the CEO, the owner and CEO. First of all, Peter King is the owner and CEO of the company. He has a general manager that runs the affairs of the company at the airport. This company been in existence since 2017. They've been handling cargo through that same airport, going back and forth. Legally operating. And I've sat on this radio before and explained on their own. They use the airport scanners. So when these things happen, people carry on investigation to know, did you take due diligence? Did you do XYZ? It doesn't in any way implicate that the company is involved into it. So therefore, the general manager should be arrested, put handcuff on him, and put him in jail because he owned a company.
So Desmond, let's look at it this way. Let's look at
They
it.
already finished accusing me, and you say, how we train it.
Desmond. Now, President Bouakai dismissed these officials of government, dismissed them, and they haven't been taken to court and found guilty. The civil service agency is suggesting the removal or deciding to remove their names from the payroll. You think it's fair? What do you think about that?
So basically, the president acted upon reports. The Joint Security must have given the president a full comprehensive report that influenced the president's decision to have dismissed and suspended some of those officers of his government. And with the nature of this crime, drug, as we all know, a non-bailable offense, a felony, a state crime, it carries a whole weight. For any reason, in the wisdom of the president, that these officials of his government, as per the reports being given to him by the Joint Security, that, oh, Mr. President, we have, as per our preliminary findings, we have discovered that Officer S, Officer Y, are being allegedly linked to this whole thing. They must have facilitated, allegedly, aided and abetted. So this is the report. They were not the one who instructed the president to dismiss or to suspend. No, it was never the investigative thing. They only reported, they only presented the reports to the president, and the president acted based on his own wisdom. Now, if the president have gone to the extent by dismissing these people because of allegedly linked to drug activities, suspended some of those people because they are allegedly linked to drug activities, of course, yes, they should not be receiving pay.
Okay.
The salaries, which is the Liberian people taxes, should not, because mind you, it is because of the issues of impartial investigation, for which the president must have taken some of this action to say, look, you cannot be occupying your position and you be investigated. Apparently, you may use your position to influence the investigation. So just as you are being relieved of these positions, then why more about you taking salaries? Because it is the position that it is the position that pays you. So if you do not have the position anymore, how more will you be still receiving the pay that comes with that position? So it is just about fair reasoning. It's a comprehensive logic. You don't need anybody to come and lecture you about this. Once you are being dismissed, once you are being suspended, for this kind of investigation, of the period through which that thing takes effect, you will automatically be affected too by your salary.
By your salary. So that is not a bad decision by the
Not at all.
CSA. Okay, gentlemen, let's talk about the PUL and the police crisis. The PUL, the leadership of the Press Union of Liberia, is absolutely annoyed with the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police. His recent statements linking the media, local media, to drug cartels receiving bribes to undermine the ongoing investigation. The police Inspector General statement is not going down well with the Press Union of Liberia. Now the leadership has given the government 72 hours to provide evidence that some media institutions or journalists have received or are receiving bribes from drug cartels to undermine the ongoing investigation. And the Press Union of Liberia is threatening consequences if the government, not the police in particular, doesn't provide the evidence, because the Inspector General's statement or remarks about the local media linking it to drug cartels cast suspicion on the Liberian media. It is an integrity problem. That means that journalists or media institutions, we don't have integrity. We've taken bribe. As watchdogs of the society, we've taken bribe. The Press Union of Liberia is not taking that easily, and then is demanding evidence from the Inspector General of the Liberian government to provide evidence.
This is concerning, David, and it has reached a point in this government where senior government officials will continue to cast these kinds of, one could say blanket statement on the media, only to please their curiosity or their political anxiety. The Inspector General is not the first person. I think some part of last month, we all sat on the show, we condemned the same actions of the Managing Director of Water and Sewer, Mr. Mo Adi, when he also referred to Liberian journalists, quote unquote, similar corrupt actors. And when these people in public public positions, when they try to label the media community that is a member of the government, the fourth estate, There's a problem somewhere with our democracy. There's a serious problem somewhere with our democracy. To speak about the specific issues about the Inspector General, that was just yesterday, Thursday, at the Ministry of Information. That's why he made all of these, blanket statements about the media. You using the national podium why these respectable journalists gadgets are all being turned on, providing coverage for you. At the same time, you are abusing their sacrifices. You are speaking.
So this is why the press union library divide
Come here.
is demanding evidence. You think how far the union will go with this?
Well, we all know that the union does not have that power to prosecute. We all know that the union does not have that power to enforce. What the union has done was just all they could have done in her power to issue this ultimatum to call on, first and foremost, condemn the action of the RG, which is laudable as a journalist. I appreciate the union for that. And this must claim the attention of this government. If you have senior officials in this government, for whatever reason, even if for assuming over admitting that one media person or one journalist might have probably offended you to whatever way, it still does not give you the acquiescence to label or to cast an aspersion on the entire media community, vacuum, allegation that cannot be supported by facts. It's disappointing for a law enforcement.
That's when I ask you, how far do you think the press union of Liberia will go with this? Its ultimate
It's disappointing.
has almost expired.
It is,
How
yeah,
far
you-
do you think the press union will go with
I
this?
just told you.
I'll come to you, Mr.
I just told you that the president of Liberia does not have the prosecutory power. The president of Liberia does not have that enforcing power. What the president did, which is laudable and
Because
responsible,
the press union of Liberia has also the power to put a
media blackout.
on the government activity,
want
on the police activity.
They were not.
So
they
just
didn't
imagine-
get the power. They didn't get the boss.
No, what do you mean by that?
No,
The union, if for any reason the police RG actions contradict the ethics of the of journalism in our country, especially you have done similar things, to many media practitioners, then you think it is not possible for the president to issue a clearing call to all of its members and these media institutions to say, look, for the actions of the RG, which constitute a great and a very much desire, or one could describe as hazardous precedents.
Okay, that's when
Therefore, we should create a media blackout on him. They said they will not do that. But again, let me tell you that person now, you now when the media do this thing, they say, oh, the people trying to do it.
That's when I'll come
But
back
you-
to you. That's when I'll come back to you. Edwin, what do you think?
What do you expect from Edwin?
What do you think? How you think how far the press Liberia will go with this?
What do you expect?
Nowhere.
Moses,
Absolutely nowhere.
What do you mean?
And first of all, let me see this. I think the president needs to start looking for more important things to do
You see that?
rather than trying to, fight something that is glaringly seen. First of all, when the press sit there and allow journalists to get on the
A
radio,
police inspector general
coming, Chief.
casting aspersion
the
on
police inspector
the
general
media,
was
and
speaking.
the president of Liberia president or president of Liberia is
The
reacting
police
to that,
inspector general was
demanding evidence,
speaking
and you say,
based on what has been happening over time within the media, and the president had made no statement to what was that. You have journalists sitting on international platform, castigating people name, calling people name, trying to undermine the investigation. When the police director come out and say that he believes that the cartel have given some members money to undermine the investigation, then the PL now think that they have the balls to talk.
current institution, and then you continue to give the man the airtime.
That's why you're coming.
Okay,
That's
go
why you're
ahead.
coming.
Yeah. Comments on this drugs issue, because investigations are ongoing, and any journalist found doing XYZ, the PUI will take appropriate actions against you. You think people will still be doing it? Listen to some of the media outlets. They are out there calling people names, trying to drag people in doing XYZ. You know, who tell you say when they say the media that food so it means that they are beyond reproach? No, they are not. They are not. And like I said, if the PUL cannot muster the courage to say to her members that you have to report with some level of caution, you have to report with some level of certainty when you're seeing things out there. You don't have the balls to come out and because the IG said there are some media, there are some folks in the media that the cartel have given money to. So if you actually curious to know about it, go and I think you should go to the IG and see. We'll be interested in knowing which of these media institutions, if you can help us, so we can be able to take appropriate, so we can be able to take appropriate actions. But if you have not done it, then why? You just took that bulldog around here.
Okay, Desmond, before I come to you, let me welcome Moses.
coming to
Moses, welcome to the nighttime heat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Tagwin. And it's a pleasure to connect with you, Edwin, Mr. Will, and our crew back home. You guys are doing a remarkable job. My schedule is very crazy. That's why I haven't been coming.
Yeah, no
But I
problem.
just want to briefly contribute to the discussion regarding emanated from the director of police.
And so Moses, I'd like you to, I'd like you to first. The first topic we talked about was about the president's decision to dismiss some officials of government in connection to the ongoing investigation into this cocaine thing. So that is one of our topic we discussed. I want you to give your own position on this. The president, what do you consider? What do you see the president decision, the dismissal of these officials, suspension and dismissal of these officials? I'd like you to first talk about that. Then the police director's recent disparaging comments of the Liberian media.
Well, on this one, I stand with the president 100%.
That is the
action by the
president. Okay.
president.
Okay.
Yeah, I stand with President Joseph Yuma Boakai. I applaud him for stepping up to the place. He has demonstrated leadership. Because, and this is what we have said continuously, there were people who were saying that, oh, let's give the people time to investigate. Let's give the people time to investigate. When we said top names were not being called, people were saying that we didn't know what we were talking about. And the president has taken the positions that shows that we knew what we were talking about. So the president has been able to demonstrate to Liberians that he really means business. So let me commend the president for the intervention. It is important that we hold people who are in high places when they are in the wrong. The law should be the law. So I commend the president.
Okay.
Now let's move quickly to the situation with the statement from the director of police. I watched the news conference when he appeared at the Ministry of Information. The Director of Police made a statement that draws the integrity of the Liberian media into public disrepute. Minister Pia went out and clarified that the director's statement was not a blanket statement. The director was making reference to few journalists or media institutions that he claimed have been compromised, meaning they have been bribed by cartels. Now, when the director of police speaks, it carries a lot of weight, Mr. Tagre. He's not an ordinary officer. So if Director Como is telling us that he has the evidence, when this man speaks, he doesn't speak loosely. He speaks based on evidence that when a police officer speaks, when a police officer says Moses Sandy stole this, it means that officer has the evidence. So when the director of police, the senior administrator, the senior investigator of the police said that, hey, we have information that some media institutions have been compromised, then I think the director of police is on a professional and moral obligation to identify the institution that he was making reference to. He has to call the names of those people, let the public know them, and then the police is also under obligation, because the crime the police director is making reference to, the current situation we are dealing with, is a very serious matter. It's no joke. So if the director of police is saying that there are compromised media institutions in Liberia, I think it is also important that the Liberian government begin an immediate investigation of those media institutions. If people have to be arrested, let them be arrested.
So this is what
these people are working with the cartels.
Mostly this is what the President of Liberia is demanding from the police inspector general or the police to provide the evidence. And the President of Liberia, at 72-hour ultimatum to solve has expired. What are you reading? What do you think? We think that ultimatum.
I differ with the PL on that. Look, you don't make a that you lack the ability to enforce. The PL cannot give the director of police an ultimatum.
Why can't it?
They can ask the director of police. They can ask director of police, say, hey, you have said this, and they provide us the evidence. What if the director of police says that, look, I will not listen to you, and it's only 2 hours expire? What would the PL do? Would the PL shut down all the newspapers in the country? Shut down radio stations in the country? The PL lacks that ability. All the union could have done was to ask for what? Clarity, identify the individuals, and ask the government to arrest the individuals concerned, and let the public know. The people have the right to know. And Konakoma is now on an obligation to name those people. That would be my advice, but not to give an ultimatum. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Tabe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
So that's one.
So this is where I partially agree with Mr. Sandy and to some extent I disagree when he talked about the PEO cannot give an ultimatum. Look, that is far-fetched, Mr. Sandy. PEO is the parent body of all journalists in the Republic of Liberia. As such, it is part of the responsibility of the union to supervise, regulate, you understand, the activities of media within Liberia. So giving an ultimatum to a police director who spoke without evidence. And there is nothing absolutely wrong with that. And
So what we should be talking about is
so, and this is where it is even more discouraging on the part of Mr. Famula, who is an Anthony Law, to speak the way he spoke. You cannot be a lawyer and you support people making wide range of allegations in the absence of evidence. Let's assume that the ID statement was not, inclusive of all the media institutions. It was for a particular institution. There was a journalist who asked him that, he said the media institutions are being compromised, they're being used by cartel. Can you name them? What was the response? They know themselves. What is that? Inspector General of Police, somebody who's supposed to be a law enforcement officer, who should know that these kinds of statements come with huge responsibility. Will use the national airwave and then you spew out, what we describe as unregulated allegation on media institution. Then the thing that Mr. Sunday is saying that the union should not give ultimatum.
Famula's argument is that the Press Union of Liberia hasn't been taking action or reprimanding other media institutions, that people sit on and allegedly spread lies.
Apparently, Mr. Famula has not been living in Liberia.
So the President of Liberia hasn't been taking action, so it wouldn't go anywhere with this.
That's what I'm saying. Apparently, Mr. Famula has been living probably Pluto or Jupiter. So this is where, let me tell you, one of the recent actions the union took. There was Mr. David. We are journalists. We follow these things, and this man. I mean, he is Mr. Famula, who's been a region apologist. It's of no surprise the way he sounds. Now, the union, there was a situation involving, for the sake of clarity, there was a situation involving what's his name, Franklin Dolokwe of who reports also for the Front Page Africa and also OKFM in Nimba County, involving with the Minister of Information in San Equator. That was the second edition of the government town hall, where there was a scores of the journalists within Nimba. They requested for an interview with the minister, and the minister was clear. He said, "Look, gentlemen, is it an audio interview or a video interview?" They said, "Oh, just audio, chief." They said, "Okay." The minister said, "No problem, because I'm not in a position to have a video interview." So while they were in the middle of the audio interview, Frankie Dolokwe abruptly turned his camera to do video, and the minister noticed. And the minister said, "No, what is this?" And that was how the minister just put a stop, and that brought in small commotion. A day after, POS instituted a probe based on the complaint filed by our member, Frankie Dolokwe, to the union that, Minister Pia assaulted him, blah, blah, blah. So the union instituted a probe. The outcome of that probe today, even the Minister of Information applauded the investigative finding of the union's action. The union acknowledged that our members, to some extent,
if this gentleman is going to be the only one talking here, then I think I should
breach
take
the
my phone.
ethics. So I'm saying you cannot tell the media community to say there has been no action taken by the union. I'm telling you that is blatant. That is blatant unrealistic.
Let me say this.
That is blatant unrealistic.
Let me say this. And I think the problem in this country with the media landscape, and one of the problems is that people are not trained, they are not professional people. Most people just woke up in the morning, jump on the radio, and want to, say whatever they want to say. Sometimes when you push them, they say they are not journalists, they are commentators, they are political commentators. And I think these are some of the things that my brother William been doing here himself. Because when you sit and throw allegations and start saying things to people, there are government apologies, you have no proof. Let me tell you,
Government apologies.
A government apologies or so. Let me tell you one thing.
Is it glaring?
That's why the other day I said to you also that you are not a professional, you are a sedition. And then you push back, you say you are not a sedition. No, you call me a government apologist, I accept it. If because
that is who you are, it's no option. You have no option but to accept, because that is who you are.
Do you agree that you are also a citizen? the international platform, they're calling people name, they're doing this where they have no facts. Basically, in the mind of the police director, that these are people who are meant to undermine the process. And he was right. You know, so for you to say, oh, the peer will do this, the peer, what boss does the
So do
peer
you
have to
agree?
issue
Famulek,
lawsuit? Yeah.
do you agree
Mhm.
that some journalists are receiving bribes
I
or
agree.
have been
I agree.
compromised by
I
drug
agree
cartels?
100% that you have political journalists in this country who are party affiliates who sit on the radio
No, let's
and
talk
try to
about their
undermine.
link with- their alleged
It
link
is
with the drug
possible.
cartels.
It is also possible that the cartel can pass through journalists to give them money to undermine this process. It's possible. The cartel can do whatever they want to do because they have money at their disposal.
So the police director is right.
100% right.
So
Yeah.
it is equally possible for the same cartel to use the investigators to distract these kinds of, investigative journalists who are trying to uncover the truth. Just as he is claiming that it is possible for the cartel to use media institutions, it is also possible, David, for the very
I
same
just
cartel,
think it's what I want
for the
you.
very same cartel to use these investigators to see how best to intimidate the media, to suppress the media. Because all we've been seeing is since the investigation, the police at this point should be commending the media.
So,
Yes.
Desmond. So what what you think the president of Liberia can do to the police if it doesn't provide the evidence it wants?
Well,
What you think the president of Liberia can do? What action can it take against the police or the government if the police fails to provide or to substantiate their claims against the local media?
there are several steps. There are several actions the union may deem necessary.
The most important one.
But in the midst of these steps,
Yeah.
no, you
The most
ask a
important
question
one,
on
yeah,
chief.
the most important-
In the midst of these no options, there are various options. In the midst of these options, when the media at this point now come to maybe instruct or media blackout, the entire government, some people, especially the Mr. Foreman of they say, hey, you see the media logging, hey, you see, we're not talking.
You're talking about media blackout. That's media blackout.
And it's not possible. Who told you that?
No, Desmond. Let's be orderly. You talk about media blackout. Let's look at the media holistically. It is split. It is divided. How many media institutions do you think will cooperate with a media blackout on the government? Let's look at the division in the media. We have two factions of media in Liberia.
Yeah, so
And
we have the pro media, the anti media. We have those who like why you
The CDC media.
No,
The one you part of.
we have media institutions or journalists who it is obvious that elevating the beliefs and other actions of opposition political parties. And there are other journalists who see things going wrong in the United Party government who wouldn't report it or even play around it. So the media is split. Even if we have 100, let's assume we have 100 media institutions in Liberia, and the president puts a blackout. Out of those 100, maybe 30% or 40% will go along with the president Liberia action, his blackout action. So there's a split in the media.
Forget about that. Forget about that, David. There will be split everywhere. Even in government, there will be split. You understand? I'm a student of sociology. Once anything has to do with the nature of humankind, there will always be diverse views.
So
I am saying,
can any action from the PUL, if the police doesn't provide the evidence
or retract.
or retract the statement, is there anything action the president of Liberia you think can take to negatively impact government functions?
Oh yes.
What is it?
I just told you there are several options, and as part of those options, the union can probably instruct her members to say, look, for the actions of the RG that constitute a grave violation of our right as journalists. Even if a single member is being accused by the IG in the absence of evidence, it brought on the entire integrity of the media community. So we shouldn't just say, oh, it's an isolated case to say, oh, like, there's one person they were talking about. Even the disclaimer that the Minister of Information made, that was just for a record.
Desmond, what action you think the PUL can take if the police doesn't retract?
Any message to do media blackout?
Blackout you're talking about. Have you done your survey to determine how many media houses will cooperate with that?
So the thing is, it is not about how many horses going to cooperate with the union's instruction. What matters most is the union has taken an action. The union has spoken. It is behooves the institution of all media executives to obey by the instruction of the union. I know that it is of no surprise that we have people in our country, especially the members of our media committee, who in the open clerk, and sometimes they don't even affiliate with the union. These are some of the disappointing moments as journalists. You should not, and at no point in time, for whatever reason, the union is your parent organization. You should, and at all times, obey and respect the instruction of the union. So yes, there could be several options, and one of it could be media blackout. And it doesn't matter about how many institutions are going to follow that instruction. But what would
Because journalists supposed to be the watchdog of the society. They're supposed to be independent. That's why they say the independent media. But the people, they start taking political side. They start being friends with politicians. They're doing this. Some of them taking cartoon. They're doing this. They're writing stories in favor of one person. In fact, some of them even going to go launch a book in honor of a presidential person or so. You think these are the people that people want to take serious? Let's be candid here. If the media wants to be respected, it needs to regulate itself first. Let me tell you, there was a young guy in this country that at a point in time, he almost like took over the entire media. May peace be to his ashes. You know him very well. He was running at some office in the back there, the late Lawrence Randall.
Labrador Media Center.
Labrador Media Center. You see, just one guy almost took the entire PUL activities from his hand because he realized that it was the whole media landscape was spended. The people were fighting here and there doing this. So the media itself has to sit back to look at itself and say, how can we add value to ourselves? You call for a media blackout, like you say. How many people will even honor that? As soon as there's a press briefing at the Ministry of Information, the rest of the guys will run there. Can it be tell any media house that you're not giving them down to say, oh, don't go cover the Ministry of Information press briefing? Can the PL stop in a newspaper here say you cannot publish anything about the government? You can. They can. They don't. They don't have that. They don't have that might. This whole thing people talking about, oh, the media is the fourth estate. That was during those days when you had Kenneth Best and other professional people who were here who understood what they were doing. Today, they fly by night. Media people who just run from class, they come from a classroom.
I mean, you said that
You're coming.
hear any supporting an unregulated allegation being.
But now you want evidence?
That-
when you are talking loose here, and now you want evidence?
I mean, you gotta protect me. You gotta be civil. You understand? you cannot have a police IG who's supposed to be a law enforcement officer, who's supposed to understand the weight of allegations. If it kind of hard sensitive matter, and then you accuse him, few media institutions say, oh, the people are being used by cartels. That is damning, bro. It's wrong. It's wrong. It should be condemned to the letter today and any other day. And in my honest plead, it is hard time that the IG retract that statement out of courtesy and the respect he have for the media. He got to retract that statement with no delay.
If he doesn't,
I know the IG will do so.
If he doesn't,
I know he will do so. He's a young man who I can
Will would do a media blackout.
Edwin made a very important.
forget about Edwin Point. Edwin Point is there is no substance.
Desmond.
Don't give it credence.
Desmond.
Go ahead.
Desmond. Edwin says something
Mm.
that we should take serious.
What is that?
Add value to our profession. If we
That's what
add
about
value
adding value.
to our profession, if we do, the public will respect us. Even the police director we're talking about would also respect us. But if we don't have value, if we take ourselves down low, people will not respect
So
us.
down. That is why I'm so formless.
That's formless.
So
action.
formless actions can be interpreted. Given the fact, let's assume assume if I'm admitting that the media community doesn't have value. I didn't believe it. Wouldn't believe any other day. The media community has value. We have value, a very immense value, high integrity. That the media community may have fallen short of certain standards. So does it give the right to actors to also engage in similar, form and manner? Then what is the precedence? What is the distinction? What sort of exemplary leadership are these guys been trying to set up?
Okay, we are. Okay, Desmond. Let me go to
Let
Moses.
Moses disagree with you.
Yeah, Moses, you hear me, right?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so Moses,
Thank you.
I guess you're following the discussion we're talking about. We're still talking about the police press
Yeah.
union Liberia crisis.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling. I want to put you back on some of the things that my friend and brother Famula said regarding the media. Mr. Famula is a lawyer, and Mr. Famula and I can agree that the legal system in Liberia is one of the most corrupt, dishonest. He knows that.
That's your opinion.
There are a lot of corrupt lawyers in our country. When we talk about dishonesty, it's not unique to the Liberian media. It is in all professions in Liberia. And the legal profession is one of those very compromised profession. Mr. Formula knows that. So now let's come to the core discussion here.
I'm talking about
The core discussion here is somebody made an allegation. The man who enforces the laws of the country. He says the media has been compromised. This man is not an ordinary person.
You didn't say the media. Some member of the
This
media.
job is to enforce the laws of the country.
To people comments.
If this man made a very profound statement like that, is Mr. Formula telling us that it is appropriate For Henry Family, Edwin Family as a lawyer, the suppose someone who enforces the law to make a statement that it is not authenticated. Is he telling us that it is right for Mr. Okonokomo to say people are compromised, but he cannot name those people who are compromised, and he cannot go after them as a law enforcement entity, especially when these people are reportedly linked with drug cartels in the country? Is that what Mr. Family telling us? Let my brother speak to them.
And so, family, Moses is saying.
No. I understand what he said.
Also, corruption in the.
I understand what he said. So he himself, he just threw a blanket statement saying that the media, the legal system is corrupt, lawyers are corrupt. That's his statement, right? The IG statement was some members of the media has been compromised by the cartel to undermine the investigation. He did not see the entire media. He says some members of the media have been compromised. So you see, when you're trying to set an analogy, you have to be very careful as to how you say it or so. You throwing a blanket statement on the entire legal system.
Similarly, that's what you did.
All right.
Of course, that
add value to itself. And how do they do that? So Moses, you are an old-time journalist. Where they came from sociology class, they jump into journalism now. So you guys need to start giving them the ethics. In the legal sector, there's an ethics. We would deal with ethics. Lawyers have been punished for wrongful actions. In plenty, lawyer has been debarred. So why would you just come and say, oh, the whole thing and this and this? No, that's not how it works. What I'm saying here, the IG was emphatic with his statement. And the reason for that is because the CPL have sat supinely to listen to people who are journalists trying to cast doubt on the entire security sector that is investigating this sector.
Okay, Desmond, before I come to you, let me ask Moses the question. Moses, are you still on the line? Let me ask you the question, Moses. I'm asking you, you think I thought the president of Liberia will go with this, with the police? The president of Liberia has put up, has given an ultimatum. I think that is expired or maybe expiring in the coming few minutes or hours. Well, how far do you think can the president of Liberia take any action that will grant government activity as far as the media is concerned?
Oh, absolutely not. That's what I said earlier. I spoke to that. We always tell people that do not make a threat that you do not have the means of acting on. And that's what the PL has done. To give this mess only 2-hour ultimatums, the leadership of the union has no control over media entities in our country. There are people who work for the government. Are you telling us the PL will tell ELBC to shut down? Media institutions, journalists that are considered what apologists of the administration, will the PL tell them not to cover the government?
But but Moses, even if the president of Liberia doesn't have a power to stop ELBC from broadcasting or covering the government activities, but yet and still, the fact that the president of Liberia has announced
media
blackout on the government, it sends a wrong image,
Picture.
a wrong signal of the government, of picture of the government to the international
world.
So what does that do? What does that imply?
Go and see the effect.
It does. And Mr. Tagbe, I agree with you 100%. You're going to send a wrong message. And this is where if I were in the leadership of the PO, I would not have given an ultimatum.
What would you have done?
What I would have called for was what? The director of police must adduce the evidence.
But if he doesn't,
Must go after the accused journalist, because this is what criminal investigation. And so if the director is linking media institutions to these people,
what that money said.
then the director of police must what? Begin to arrest those journalists. We have a serious problem in the country. And the man is saying that he has evidence that media institutions are compromised. They are working with cartel. Why can't he arrest them? That man is not ordinary person. He's the director of police.
So Moses,
But are they in the country?
But
Some of them
Moses-
are in the country.
Moses, you said the legal system here is also corrupt. Can
Yeah.
you provide evidence?
Let me give you a graphic example. I was talking to you, right? I will give you 2 examples. I was talking to you. I have a case in court. I hire a lawyer. I pay the lawyer. Because this guy knows that I reside in the United States. When I call the man, he does not answer his phone. This is just Moses sending you.
So
wait,
no, I will educate him on that.
Oh,
Mr.
wait.
Farmer,
You have himself to blame.
Let
No,
Moses
wait.
learn, let Moses
Yeah,
learn.
let you finish for then. I'll try to educate him. Why you have yourself to blame?
no, not monologue.
I know,
It's a dialogue.
Mr. Family, my case is it will be considered an isolated case. But you guys,
No, it's not
know what
isolated.
happened wait, so let me complete.
Mm-hmm,
Now, besides my case, right?
mm-hmm,
You read recently the directive from the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia
mm-hmm,
regarding a solicitor of the Ministry of Justice
mm-hmm.
that was parading, going to court,
As a lawyer,
and he knew that he was now what? A certified lawyer in the country. Isn't
Okay.
that dishonesty?
Okay.
And this guy did it for years. Doesn't that show dishonesty in our criminal justice system?
No, it doesn't. And I will explain to you why.
And Mr. Famula,
I will explain to him why.
I'm not
Yeah,
Mr. Famula.
Yeah, no, let me no.
Wait.
Let me
Moses, stay on. You
let
say-
me
you
let me
have
just
another-
edit
Moses said he has 2 examples.
Let me address all 2. First of all, Moses, this is the mistake that many Liberians make. You are in the United States, you want to effect an actions here. Your lawyer is not your attorney in fact. You have the right to have an attorney in fact on the ground to work along with your lawyer to pursue your case. The lawyers here are not that many, so many of them have many issues to deal with. And you see, this is the mistake many of our people make. Moses Sandy, you have families in Liberia. If you have a case, you can do a power of attorney to give it to one of your relatives to represent you. That person will be the one dealing with your lawyer. Now, if that lawyer do anything unethical in your case, that person that you gave the power of attorney to has the right to complain that lawyer to the Chief Justice of Liberia. That lawyer will be subjected to the Grievance and Ethics Committee at the Supreme Court, where appropriate actions will be taken against that lawyer. But sometimes people sit out there, get on the phone with lawyers, contact them and say, I want you to do X, Y, Z. The lawyer say, okay, send this for me. You send it. The lawyer goes and put the case on the docket. Our dockets are filled. Once you are not here or you don't have somebody to put pressure behind that lawyer, that lawyer probably had 10, 15, 25 cases still in the court. He's not going to take your issue seriously because you're not in his face. It shouldn't be that way. But if you have somebody on the ground representing you, all right, that person will be able to push that lawyer to do what you want them to do. The second thing about the guy who was just debarred by the Chief Justice, for many years in this country, magistrates, sitting solicitors were not lawyers. They were people who they just picked them from the different places. They trained them through the Ministry of Justice, through the the Judicial Institute and assigned them. It was Chief Justice Siane Yo who came and passed a law to say that no magistrate in this country will be a non-law school graduate. In fact, she forced all of the magistrates to go to law school because you cannot be sitting before lawyers and you are not a lawyer. City solicitors were people who were just hanging around the court, where the Ministry of Justice were giving them documents to represent clients at the court, at the level of the magisterial court. And this is the thing that happened over time. The reason is that the state itself does not have the kind of money to give to a lawyer to say, okay, Formula just coming from law school, right? He's an Antonio at law. We want to send him to Grand Crew as a city solicitor, but we pay Formula $500. You think I will leave from wherever to go to Grand Crew? But they can find somebody there who is a non-lawyer who been hacking around the court and make them city solicitor. However, that does not give him the right to go and impersonate himself as counselor at law. And what he did was he impersonated as a counselor at law, so the Chief Justice took actions against him. So we have to understand these things. There are a lot of, I can tell you, most of the city solicitors in this country are not lawyers.
Yeah, let me provide clarification.
Basically,
Yeah, clarification.
practicing before the.
Let me progress. Go on this for the longest.
I mean, you take some other money. I come and take graduate.
You see, you're making another blanket allegation.
Chairman, we have to continue.
Yeah, let my Mr. Formula, man. You get some headache.
Let me just clarify something for Mr. Famula.
Go ahead, Chief.
You know,
Clarify.
Mr. Famula was singing to the choir.
I know.
You know, I know that
I'm the choir master.
if you are not in a country and you want to pursue a legal matter, what you do, you spend a power of attorney, you designate a family member.
So why you have not done that?
Power of attorney. And I did that.
Ah, okay.
So let me provide that information. I did that. I got someone who represents me on the ground.
I see why the lawyer picking your phone.
All payments.
But I see why the lawyer picking your phone.
So, yeah, but let me complete that family. So all payments, I make that, and the payment goes through this person.
Okay.
So that's the kind of relationship we have,
Okay.
right? So, when Edward, my power of Tony, goes to interact with this lawyer, this guy treats this man as if to say he's doing us a favor.
So the point of argument here is whether corruption is in the legal system or not.
Because the problem with that is that because people don't act in this country, but that you have remedy. You have remedy.
Okay. So we are most of that we are coming.
You have remedy. So
Yeah, no, let me complete my thought.
Okay.
Mr. Famula admitted that there's dishonesty in the criminal justice system.
there's dishonesty
He
everywhere.
talk about how the Ministry of Justice will recruit people who lack the academic credentials, the training, and send them up country because what? The cost of living there is cheaper. Those people are not prepared. That should not be happening.
That has been the norm from 1847 to now.
Okay, gentlemen.
And
the judicial system, it has been established by even the chief justice of our country. The chief justice have said at times over a number that the judicial system needs serious reform.
so leaving the corruption thing that judicial be now want to about.
Serious reform.
Okay.
So for what Mr. Sandy said, there is no difference in terms of the kind of reforms that need to be applied at the judicial system.
And
So
also the people.
.5.5. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. And my name is David Tagber. The panelists are Edwin Family, Desmond Weir, and Moses in the diaspora. Let's talk about the situation at the University of Liberia, OFA, and the university administration.
Yeah, they made
You
it
know,
bust-
all
made
is
it
not
chairman.
well there. In fact, and the faculty association honestly is planning a go slow is on a go slow. The administration is saying that if they don't refrain from the planned go slow or the ongoing go slow, they may face the consequences in the form of dismissal or suspension. And
That is unnecessary. That is unnecessary showmanship. These faculty members, for every time, in fact, this is not the first time. Every now and then, the guys will engage into.
so they are putting up the showmanship.
The faculty, the faculty members are putting on unnecessary showmanship. You cannot continue to disrupt the learning activities of our of librarian future simply because of a personal issues. Look, let me tell you this. Just a week ago, you have over 4 of their faculty members who are going for PhD under the leadership of Dr. Mampayan and the board chair or Honorable Nominati H. Batekwa Senior. There are several reforms at that university. Look, the problems were there. The problems were inherited by the new leadership. These things cannot be done within a twinkling of an eye. They need to understand that leadership reform comes with patience. It cannot be all over the place.
So you think the faculty
Yeah.
association is the problem at the
Of
university?
course, if
And this government have done immensely to be able to support that university. Yes, there are structural challenges on the campus of the University of Liberia. There are challenges with even the instructors and so forth. I have seen some young guys in there who are quote unquote lecturers. And in my mind, some of them are not even fit to even be high school lecturers.
Wow.
Let's be candid, you know.
have you checked the academic
Hey,
credentials?
Chief, I was in the school there with people who were my classmates who were teaching on a grad level. And I'm saying to you that these are not even people who are fit to even go to teach high school. Teaching is a profession, it's a career by itself. So you don't come and, you know, start dropping here and there because that one doesn't have to do with your boss man or so. However, the University of Liberia, like I said last night, is one of the higher paying tertiary institutions in Liberia compared to any of the other schools, the private schools. University of Liberia pay more. But people have this tendency that anything that belongs to government, they believe that they're always supposed to make a demand. So even if today Dr. Mampaya comes and give them another $1,000 raise on their salary, after 2 months again,
They will
they'll
still
come back and
protest.
say,
They
we
need
still want
increment.
some more. So where do we reach? My thing is that, look, that university needs to be clean. And you need someone who will muster the courage to go from start to end, do credential audit on all of the instructors in there, all of the professors, everything, and clean that place out. Then you will have a peaceful learning environment. But every time the people wake up because they feel that that place is politicized, is politics. In fact, sometimes some of them even work hands in hand with these student political party groups
Still
to create
protest.
chaos,
You understand?
to see protests at the University of Liberia. That is the place for higher learning. That's the place. That's why it is called light in darkness.
Yeah, looks internal breed.
But if the people who are supposed to be providing the light are the one that are creating the confusion for the darkness to stay, then where are we going as a country?
Exactly. So, I mean, Mr. Foreman has nailed it. If you understand the historicity of University of Liberia, you'll be very grateful to the leadership now. All of these problems. Even I can remember there was a program that the Minister of Finance attended. The Minister of Finance is a graduate of the university, and he's the chief architect of our fiscal, envelope of our country. This man, every time he doing during budgetary year, they allot a lot more. I was just reading through the budget of the University of Liberia is far increased as compared to 2022, 2021. So the folks gotta be grateful for once, man. They gotta be grateful. We understand there are still problems, and these problems will be addressed segmentally. But the manner and form in which they are demanding hasty, address of these issues, it cannot be even in the great United States. It cannot be done just within a twinkling of the eye. It is only God who has that power that during the time of creation, when God said, "Let there be light," boom, there was light. But even Dr. Mapanya, who told you that she doesn't even need some better facilities for herself? I saw the vehicle the woman is driving, kind of
So the point is the action of the faculty association.
It's unnecessary at the moment. It's just unnecessary shit.
How can Dr. Mapanya handle this? What
So-
do you think can he do?
She needs, and I don't too sure she needs to continue creating that kind of threats and intimidations. That is a professional in any environment. We know that if the problems are with the faculty members, this is not a strange problem. It is becoming habitual. It is becoming an old age thing. They see remedy in protesting, in dropping down their trucks. That which is not a good sign of our country. But I think there's a time she needs to continue to have. She's been having dialogue. I'm aware of the number of times they have sat with this, faculty leadership. They have gone through several resolutions. The people have presented counts to them. They have accepted. They have endorsed it. They have started working on them. I want us to be more. She should exercise more restraint. I know that her system is different. Where she comes from is different from where she is currently. So dealing with African, students, or better still, dealing with Africans in general is kind of a little bit complicated as compared to dealing with those from the West. But I'm saying to her, she's doing a great job. She's doing a remarkable work. She needs to be more soft. She needs to create that kind of enabling environment more and more. She's just created it, by the way, but more and more to say that they can have a round table conversations, that they have talks.
So, Edwin, you think it was necessary for the university president to threaten
I don't really think it
members
was.
of the faculty association with dismissal
I don't think
if they take part in any go slow? Or
I don't think she was threatening them. I saw that statement being more of a caveat that we are here to
is Moses still on
educate.
the line? You think so?
No,
I think he left.
I think what she was trying to put forward is that we are here to educate the society. And it is expected of you who are lecturers, who are instructors, to amicably put yourself together if you have grievances and channel that through the leadership of the university. Rather, you always going on go slow. When you do that, you undermine.
I heard an official of the faculty association on one of the radio stations saying that they went through all the processes.
Okay, so by they going
They
through
had
all of
so
those
many
processes,
discussions with
so by they going through all of those processes, still does not give them
the right
that right to say we're going to boycott
To stop
all
the library
activities,
students
to
from
stop
access to learning.
to stop those children from going to school. You are wasting people's time. And like I said, that that is the macrocosm of the larger society, where those are the people that you believe in that will come back into the society to replace those who are aging to be able to keep running our country. Now, if you stop all of these things, during those days, people went to that university for 4 years, they spent 7 years there. Not because they are not smart, but sometimes when the school run for one semester, they close for 1 year because somebody protesting, because something happening, because they were not happening or so. This lady has come and said, look, let's try to remodel the system so that we have a perpetual running of the school. In fact, she was even planning to run trimester because she realized that people just
delaying.
And then you have bulk of these young children coming from
High school.
They don't have ways of getting into the private school. They want to get into the University of Liberia. But you have somebody there who's been sitting
Over
there
20
for
years.
over 15, 20 years, or because when they may do one semester, there's a go slow, the school goes for 2 semesters. So where are we going to reach to say, look, we know we can no longer keep doing this, let's move on. And that's why I say, look, do a credential audit. There are a lot of seasoned librarians who are sitting out there that want to teach. Do a credential audit of some of these people that are giving you a hard time. Look, it is not a right for you to work at the University of Liberia. It's a privilege. So if the university reach the level that they think that your being there is going to create problem for them, they can serve on you and say, look, you know what? You can go, they bring in new people, train them, and put them in the classroom to educate these children. In fact, because of this now, even myself, that I'm thinking to start giving some kind of service to the university.
Yeah, I mean,
so
gentlemen, let's briefly talk about, we don't have time, let's briefly talk about Andrew Marr's statement, former Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System. I mean, accusing former President Saleh of undermining the broadcast government. Edwin, do you think that's a fair statement? That he's undermining the broadcast government in terms of what is going on, most especially regarding the drugs?
Again, I will be blunt. And sometimes when you say these things, my colleague here called me a government apologist. Of course, for which I'm not unapologetic about. Whether you like it or not. But let's be real.
Thanks for the confirmation.
Let's be real. President Sirleaf has over time portrayed this whole Liberia that after all, the whole Liberia is supposed to collapse. President Sirleaf has always portrayed her, she has this belief that no president should come after her to surpass her gain. So she always play this politics. She always, come on, and sometimes she wants to throw jibes. You can't do this and you're doing this. Madam, you are a former statesman. You ran this country for 12 years. You have access to President Bouakai. In as much as we know you undermine him not to win the 2017 elections or so. But if there are issues of grave concern, once you speak, it carries weight. You can call President Bouakai. If you don't even want to drive to him, you can call him because you're older than him. You can call him, say, come to me. Look, you have to deal with this. You see it behind closed door. That's not everything you go out there and try to chastise the government and trying to show. Look, my older sister had a very good friend who worked with Madame Sirleaf for many years. She was at the UN. They call her Madame Elizabeth Mondo. She was at UNESCO at one time as the head.
Yeah. We have to be brief, man.
Yes.
Okay.
So
in the meantime, let me announce
so when
the
they
numbers.
came for
Gentlemen, in the meantime, let me announce the numbers. 0886 0886 050 507. 0886 050 507.
they will not be. They will not can call us off.
Or 0778 460 793.
They will start calling by 10 o'clock. Tell them by
Yeah,
10 they
so-
can start calling.
So,
Yeah.
okay, 10 o'clock, you start
Yeah.
calling.
So
Yeah, but we have to be.
What are you laughing for?
We have to.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
No, we have to be
So,
brief.
yeah.
Yeah.
So right after the 2006 elections, at that time I was much younger, still at the university, and then we're excited, And my sister said something. Said, "Oh, we're glad that Madame Sirleaf has become president. The country will move forward, and blah blah blah." And Sis Liz says something. I was sitting there just eardropping their conversation. She asked my sister. She said, "How well do you guys know this lady?" And my sister said, "Oh, we know her. She into politics and this and that." She said, "You guys don't know this lady, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf." She said she want to be the only shining star.
That was her opinion.
No,
Simple.
and she did prove that. She did prove that. You actually think that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf want for any Liberian president to surpass what she did in Liberia?
Why not? Why she wouldn't want?
She wouldn't want that. If Ellen, if they leave with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf alone, the day she left from power, Liberia should cease to exist.
So I disagree. I disagree with Mr. Famole.
You can disagree,
especially with a choice of word, to a state woman. You cannot refer to a state woman as being sarcastic, somebody who's trying to chastise the government. But at least to forget, this is the same Ellen Johnson Sirleaf who have been representing Liberia out there under this regime. Of course, the woman was a Ghana when she addressed it. You see, please, you just spoke. You spoke. I didn't this. Is there anything in that statement that talks about somebody trying to undermine the government?
Did you follow?
Is there anything in that statement that talks about somebody being very sarcastic
Did you listen to the
or
statement?
chastising the government? Absolutely not.
Did you listen to the statement?
So the woman is a state woman.
Did you listen to the
She's a
statement?
patriot.
You didn't listen.
Let me dispute that perception of yours that the woman does not want anybody to succeed after her. No. Ellie is on record.
I didn't say to succeed. Though.
I mean, to sound to
surpass.
No, I'm just trying to guide the conversation. No, he needs to know that. Or apparently he knows it and chooses to pretend. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, family has been unfair to the
Very
to
unfair.
the former president.
So, President, we are also involved in Liberia.
So let me call it number.
Joining on the permanency.
086.
It's still does this type of
Edwin, let me call it. This is
You don't get no argument
This
against
is
the
the
former
ninth
president.
time heat on Front FM 105.5. My name is David Type. And the numbers to call are 0886 050 0886 050 or 0778 460 0778 are the numbers to call to be a part of the conversation. And so I insist that you've been unfair to Madam Sirleaf. Madam Sirleaf took a lot of play a lot of part in many of this government activity. For you to have said that she's not being fair to Baka. She's on the okay. So let's take our first caller. Good evening, sir or madam.
Good evening, Mr. Taiwo. Good evening, Mr. Famole, and good evening to TV Studio.
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my name is Melvin Ulejawi, and I call for election district 16, Nikita. Mr. Taiwo, let me partly agree with the family and the issue of the PEL.
Okay.
The PEL needs to be very proactive in the family. I can remember back in the days of Abdullah Kamara, when Henry Costa sat on Hot FM, demonstrating the government, insulting government official. Abdullah said they bring the money, which they want to listen to. They didn't stop there. They didn't take action against Henry Costa. They got down to the TDC government. when Abraham sat on a radio and starting opposition leader saying all about defeated remarks using against leader, they didn't take action against them. So why would PL not taking action against its own memo? But when people come to talk against the PL, then you come to attack them too.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your call. Thank you for, let's take the other one. Good evening. Yes, sir. What's your name?
This is Maya Johnson calling from West Point, Fantita.
Okay, go ahead, Maya.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Family there. Man, I said, now one for Joseph Barra to succeed one and all. Or statement, hey, listen to Paul Bamboo, you more engaged the same way again. And I also have friends now. So she want for Joseph Barra to succeed more and all.
You sure of that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, because Famula said it, so you agreed.
No, enough of Family. You read behind the line. You see that woman, I think our politician will thank God Barra putting all the shit.
Okay, thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. 086 050 507 086 050 507 or 077 8460793. Gentlemen, our parting comments. We can take maybe 2 or 3 more calls. Okay, let me get another call. Let me take this call. Maybe we can take 2 or 3 more calls.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for the program. I'm Eddie Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, I listened to the discussion, but I think formula has been unfair. You're talking about Ellie don't want to see Baka succeed. Who knew Baka in the country before 2005? It was the same Ellie that brought him as vice president for 12 years. Then somebody would say that Ellie want Baka to succeed. So what they have noticed, the people who support or the Unity Party loyalists and supporters, you want nobody to criticize the government. When you criticize the government, it means that you want it to succeed. But 6 years ago, they said the worst thing about the CDC administration in the country. The worst thing they said. They even went as far as putting dead body for in a morgue. Putting a photo on Facebook and how the government was killing people in the country, this and that, everything they said. But today, the moment you talk small thing about the government, then you want it, you are not patriotic. You want the government to succeed. You need to start that from there.
So you disagree? You disagree with Mr. Famula?
I disagree with you 1,000 times.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you very much for your call. You want me to play with the call, my man? Yeah, 086 050 086 050 507 086 050 507 077 8460793 077 8460793 are the numbers to call. We can take maybe 1 or 2 more, then we'll call it a day. So let's give our parting comments. Let's start with Mr. Famula.
Why are you starting with me today?
Oh, but man, yesterday the man started with me. Is that a problem? Why you don't want to take the lead?
As always, it was a good show. To the last caller, let me say this. I didn't say you have a call. I didn't say you can take a call.
Good evening.
Good evening, my name is Aaron Jala and I join you from Patrick Factory Community.
Okay, Mr. Jala, welcome.
Yeah, it is an open secret that all of former President Eddie Johnson's action has been adverse to the success of this government. She doesn't want the government to succeed. She doesn't want President Barra to succeed. It's nothing to for me.
So what has she done? What has she done that you think that she doesn't want the current government to succeed? What has she done?
First of all, prior to President Barra's presidency, she has been opposing his presidency seriously by masterminding all sorts of things that I do not have sufficient time to explain. But Liberian, we know that she's been in action of the habit of always opposing the government. But it's just out of shame. Let me be frank. Let me just be bold to say that it's all a shame that you're trying to say that somebody said, you people say, she represented the government where at the family where in Ghana or what. She just doing anything out of shame because she know that why she try to stop, they not work her. So she just doing anything out of shame. But actually, former president, Ellen Johnson does not even want the government to succeed.
Okay.
Thank you for the
That's excellent.
Don't forget.
I'm glad that you took this. Yes, I'm glad that you took the last of a call. Basically, is it another more call again? Basically, it validated my point, and that's about 3 against 1. So it shows that exactly what Ambrose Man said and what I've said. The ordinary people out there actually have seen it, and they're seeing it for themselves.
They will be saying it because
However,
they are United Partisans or supporters.
I'm not a United Party partisans. I'm not joining a political party in Liberia.
I'm not
Mr.
talking
Famune,
about you.
I'm not a United Party
Okay,
partisan.
let's close
Let me
on that.
close. It was a good show, and I commend the IG for his statement. Also, I'm thinking that if the IG is looking for some of these people, maybe some of us can help him, because the way my brother here sound most often, it seems that he among those journalists that actually try to, that try to undermine the investigation.
As a lawyer, you speaking, you're making wide range of allegations. Wide range of allegations of facts. But the show has been a great show, David. I mean, you've been doing a remarkable job in the driving seat. Thanks to all of our people. But let me close on this. Let's go as far back to 2004. Today we have a President Bouaka, who one of the callers said that it's a fact. Nobody knew it. Oh man, all over the place. A man who has not even gotten elected as a representative in his entire life, or a politician. But then, former President Ellen picked him. They said, "Look, of all." In terms of our Afro cases, it is a global icon all around the world.
Is it